Welcome back. America in the 1930s is remembered for its high unemployment and struggle for working families to find affordable housing. President Franklin D. Roosevelt started a number of projects to help the nation's families escape these problems and find a better life. In this week's Northland Uncovered, Fox 21's Victoria Capek takes us to a Northland colony of Depression-era housing projects, one of the nation's only homestead colonies still standing.
In 1934, the United States government bought a 400-acre plot of land just outside the city of Duluth. Within 4 years, the lot filled with 84 new houses. Those houses filled with 84 new families whose lives were changed after moving in.
As we're looking at the overall history of Hermantown, there are two major events that altered our history, the first being the fires of 1918. 20 years later, it was a Jackson Project phenomenon.
The purpose of the Jackson Project was simple: to build modern but inexpensive houses to get people out of the city.
My dad said to his partner that he was going to try to get a job up here building these 84 houses.
Bob Levander moved into his Jackson Project home when he was 2 years old. His dad was an electrician struggling to make ends meet.
For the first few years, the government, you were renting the house, you didn't own it.
Moving into a Jackson Project home saved his family from destitution. They went from having nothing to having electricity, heat, and plumbing, rarities in middle-class homes during the Depression era.
Once you were established in the house, then your focus was get that garden going, because it had to supply, you might say, the subsistence for the winter.
Each house in the colony had its own garden. Each family would grow their own food. That was one of the government caveats. The tenants would feed themselves.
Coming out of the Depression and then going into the war years, that was pretty special as far as having community.
From birth, Carol Bjorlin lived in her 2-bedroom Jackson Project home with her 3 siblings, mother, and father.
We 3 girls shared our bedroom, and then my brother had to sleep in my mom and dad's bedroom, and that worked out fine.
Bjorlin says that kind of closeness was shared by the whole Jackson Project community.
Everybody knew everybody. You could walk along or ride your bikes along the roads and name all of the people that lived in each one of those Jackson Project homes.
That was really the core of Hermantown, the 84 houses.
Levander and Bjorlin watched Hermantown grow from the families that lived in the Jackson Project colony.
Actually, there are quite a few of the Jackson Project people that still live in this area and didn't want to move away because it was such a wonderful time growing up here.
Levander's Jackson Project home stayed in his family until 2015. Bjorlin still lives within a mile of the house she grew up in.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I can't think of moving anyplace else.
I can't say that it was a real advantage, but it was the Hermantown that I grew up in was really a fun place to be.
Of the 84 Jackson Project homes, 82 of them are still being lived in. Many of the homes have been renovated, but maintain their original structure. Levander and Bjorlin say they're happy to see anything happen to the houses that will keep the memory of the Jackson Project community alive. Reporting in the studio, Victoria Capek, Fox 21 Local News.